Coping with anxiety can be a challenge and often requires making, some major lifestyle changes. Joining us now is registered holistic nutritionist Christina Vero, and today we're going to talk about how to improve anxiety through nutrition. Welcome back.
Thank you. So nice to be here.
So, can we improve anxiety through nutrition?
Absolutely. There is a lot of new research that's coming out about how what we eat can influence anxiety. And a lot of researchers are saying that the mechanism by which that happens is when we eat better, our neurotransmitters are functioning better as well. So neurotransmitters are just brain chemicals that catalyze different reactions in the body. So it could be physical reactions, but it can also be psychological reactions. And those neurotransmitters require micronutrients, amino acids, things like that from what we eat. So this is a really good example of you are what you eat coming into play in real life, because when we can improve the health of our neurotransmitters, then we can improve our mental health as well.
Okay, this is all, I know you know what you're talking about, but I'm already getting a little confused. So what are some foods specifically that are, let's say, known to make anxiety worse?
Worse, yeah. So something that's been known to make anxiety worse is caffeine. So they did this one study that was really interesting where they broke people into two groups and they took people who experience anxiety versus people who don't. And for whatever reason, the caffeine made people with anxiety get a lot worse symptoms, whereas the people without it didn't have any anxiety at all. And so they were saying that what they think happened is that when you have caffeine and you struggle with anxiety a little bit already, it decreases the amount of what's called GABA in your brain. And that's a neurotransmitter that basically makes you feel calm, cool, collected. So people with anxiety really want high levels of GABA. And the other way that that happens with caffeine influencing anxiety is by sleep. So if you're somebody who's naturally anxious, sleep is a really, really good thing because it makes you feel well rested.
But if I'm anxious, I can't sleep.
Right. Yeah. So it becomes a little bit of a cycle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So sleep is definitely something that you need to work on if you have anxiety. There are lots of ways you can do that through food. There's a lot of ways you can do that without food. One of the things, though, that I would definitely say is to reduce your caffeine intake, like I was saying. So some people are so hypersensitive to caffeine, but they've actually lost sight of that because they've just been drinking caffeine for their whole life.
Decaffeinated coffee, that is fine? That is fine.
Absolutely.
Okay, obviously, because most of the not all of it is gone.
Not
most
all.
of it is gone.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would imagine then that are there not some sodas, like carbonated drinks that have caffeine?
Oh, absolutely.
The cola drinks, yeah.
Yep, you got to watch sodas. You have to watch, obviously, energy drinks. A lot of people are having those, but also frappuccinos and things like that, where people think, oh, it's just yummy deliciousness. Those can contain a lot of caffeine too. I really like to suggest switching to matcha, which is powdered green tea. And it's really interesting because it has caffeine, so it can make you feel a little bit more alert, but it also contains this amino acid that helps you feel calm. So it kind of has a nice yin and yang to it.
Right.
And that's really helpful for people with
So what
anxiety.
else besides caffeine should we avoid for anxiety?
Avoid for anxiety. I would also say trans fats. So that can be found in fried foods, in processed foods, but those promote inflammation in the body and inflammation in the brain as well, which is highly linked to anxiety. So our goal then is to reduce inflammation in the body and also do a number of other things that can help.
So what foods would help?
First one I would say is probiotics, because interestingly, 90% of serotonin is produced in your gut. So serotonin is a really important neurotransmitter for mood regulation, sleep, other things like that. And 90%, that's huge. So if our gut health is out of whack, then that can cause us to feel a little bit more anxious too. So I would definitely say to eat probiotic-rich foods like yogurt, kefir, which is fermented milk, kombucha, which is fermented tea, or even just having a probiotic supplement can be really, really helpful. And also having good fats. So that would be omega-3 fatty acids, which is found in fish, nuts, seeds, or good fats from avocados, coconut oil. Those are really good at stabilizing blood sugar levels.
What about flaxseed oil?
Absolutely, yeah, that's another great one.
Yeah.
So all of those good fats can really help to decrease inflammation, and they don't have as much of an impact on blood sugar levels.
Any other tips for anxiety in general?
Yeah, anxiety in general, I would say a lot of people struggle with boundary setting and making time for themselves these days. So I think it's really easy to give a lot of your time to other people or devote your time to doing the things that you need to do in a day. But I think a lot of people are forgetting about themselves and how they can just take time to decompress, turn off your phone every now and again. I know I can go days
Off
without
the
even
grid, yep.
Yeah, I can go days without even turning it off, right? Because we charge it, we use it for our alarm clock. So taking time away from your phone. I also really like to recommend doing things with other people in mind. So that might be volunteering or connecting with people who you just really get along with well, rather than people who you might have a more unhealthy relationship with.
Okay, now you have actually just published a book, an ebook, about anxiety in teens. There's
Yes.
links to it on all our social media pages, What She Said Talk, and you're going to come back and do, just before back to school time,
Yes.
a whole segment on helping, because it's becoming an epidemic.
Oh, absolutely. And every single teenager I've worked with practically says that their anxiety is just through the roof. So it really breaks my heart, but there's a lot of things that we can do as adults to empower them and support them and things like that.
Tell people how they can connect with you online, your sites.
Yeah, so you can go to my website, which is www.fresh-insight.ca, or you can like us on Facebook at Fresh Insight Health, or you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Christina Vero, or on your website as well.
Thanks, Christina. And we'll talk to you again in a few weeks.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, she said